All right, here's a fun topic that I touched on the first year I had the channel, the second year I had the channel. I didn't do this last year. I don't know why. I was looking through my video history. I don't see that I did it. Top 5 candidates that I think are going to break out and have a big season next year. Now, I had to go through and change the listing a little bit. I had to take out a guy who I think's kind of already there, and I had to take out Andrei Svechnikov. Why? Because we all know how good Svechnikov's going to be, and it's not really a surprise. Very highly drafted player. That's why Jesperi Kotkaniemi isn't on the chart either. Because basically, I could have just picked 5 top absolute shoe-in candidates and said, yeah, these are the 5 guys, and then come back in a year and said, yeah, that's right. Those blue chip prospects, they're blue chips, all right. So I decided to go with people that, and there's one name on this list that I think people are going to say I've seen enough of it. Now, I'm putting this in the order of players who I think are most likely to really step it up next year. So number 5, Yoel Armia of the Montreal Canadiens, who had 23 points this year. He showed signs during the season that we are finally looking at the Yoel Armia who Buffalo had in their prospects list, who Winnipeg went out and got, and now he looks like the real deal. And I think we could see a point jump for him next year. Not to mention the fact that Montreal, I think, is going to offensively have to be better than they were this year. It's going to be a very, very interesting season for them, and I think Armia is going to be a key top 9 guy. And not only that, but we've learned with St. Louis and Boston in the finals, you've got to have, a lot of depth in today's league. So this may afford him more opportunities for points than he would have got this year. Number 4. Yeah, I'll put this one at 4. Tyson Jost in Colorado. Tyson Jost, who spent time in the American League as well, had 26 points this year. I really believe in this kid, and I know this one may come back and bite me later, but I think Jost is a solid kid. I think he's just taken a little bit longer to get up to speed with the NHL and get up to what he needs to be in order to be an everyday NHLer. And I think with Colorado, picking up the number 4 pick this year, they may have another top player in their lineup next year. And with the amount of talent around him, I think Jost can only get better. Probably end up in the American League. Number 3. Yeah. I debated about whether or not to put Roope Hintz on here. And it's because, Roope Hintz got talked about a lot in the series between Dallas and St. Louis. People found out what I saw at the end of the year, which is that Hintz is a pretty good player. That being said, he is still a guy who had 22 points this year. Didn't play the full season, but he still only had 22 points. And I would think he at least doubles that next year. Probably gets up to about 50. His playoff run reminded me of Arvidsson the year where Arvidsson showed that he was going to break through with Nashville. Even though he didn't get the goals and the points to show it, he was a guy that I totally believed in. That's the video from 3 years ago I did on breakout candidates, the NHL. And I think Hintz has a lot of that same potential. Just a very good player at both ends of the ice, and I like him a lot. Number 2, and yeah, I'm going to go with this guy at 2. So for Blues fans who are going to say, well, we're tired of hearing about Hintz, let's talk about Robert Thomas. Thomas had 33 points this year. Regardless of what happens in this finals we're going to watch over the next couple of weeks, the experience for Thomas should be invaluable, and I think he's got a tremendous future. I don't know how much offensive upside there is there. I don't know if he hits 50, 60, 70, where he ends up finding his ceiling, but I think it's going to be higher than 33 points. I think he's, finding his way. He's making headlines right now in the playoffs for doing all the little things right, but he's going to move up the lineup. There's going to be guys who get older. He's going to end up moving up the lineup, and I think that could happen as soon as next year. I think he's going to force himself into that conversation. I think the Blues have some very interesting decisions to make over the summer. Again, regardless of what happens in the finals, and I think they're the kind of decisions you're going to have to make when your team is very successful. And where Thomas's role is next year is going to be very important to the team. And so, yeah, I've got him at 2. Now, at 1, I'm wearing Tampa. Now, I didn't put Matthew Joseph on the list. I thought, no, I'm only going to have one Tampa Bay Lightning member on the list. But we have to admit, Tampa Bay, who look like they might be in a cap situation, and rumor has it Callahan may be on his way out. If they end up going after Carlson, they may have to get rid of JT Miller. So what does that do? Well, it means that a rookie that Tampa Bay is convinced people aren't paying attention to, and Anthony Cirelli, he had 39 points this year, and the cutoff for me in order to make this list was 40 and under. Cirelli, I think, is going to be a key guy for them going forward. Look, he was with Team Canada, so was Matthew Joseph, and that experience, I think, will help them playing with some really top-notch players. I know people are going to point out that Crosby wasn't there, McDavid wasn't there, Tavares got hurt. You know what? It's still pretty much an all-star team over there, and I think Cirelli's gonna have a lot of experience with that. And then what they went through in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year is going to force some kind of a turnover in Tampa this summer. Absolutely. Not a major one, but some turnover, and I think Cirelli will benefit from it. He was tremendous last year in his call-up, and this year he made more improvements. The 39 points, I think, are just the tip of the iceberg. Tampa Bay develops their prospects so darn well. There are so many players up and down the Tampa Bay Lightning lineup that you can look at and say, this is a product of their farm system. This is a product of their drafting and of their development. And I think Cirelli's not really going to be a huge star, but I think he'll end up being a guy who takes some of that slack that's left when they make their changes this summer. The fact that they have guys like Cirelli, Joseph, I'd even argue Adam Ernie still has some upside there. Obviously, I'm not going to put him in the top 5, but there's still some upside there. They have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to their kids, and we'll see whether or not Cirelli makes me look brilliant for this year later or not. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, what I used for my criteria was that they have to still have that upside, and they have to be players who scored 40 or less points in order for me to, and not just necessarily just that, but they can't have had 30 points in 30 games and I go, oh, this guy's going to have a breakthrough year because he only had 30 points. I have to be realistic about it that, if a guy's almost a point a game, that's not really a breakthrough if they come up next year and they score at about that rate. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.